Hi everybody, welcome. Let me go ahead and just start with a quick introduction just in case you are unfamiliar with me, with my channel, with what we do here. So, my name is Victoria, and normally when I'm in front of the camera, what I'm doing is my faith walks. Faith walks are all things faith, Jesus, love, all of that good churchy stuff. That is what my faith walks are. Today I'm here with something a little bit different, and I hope that y'all follow with me and that you come on for the ride. Today I'm here to introduce a segment that I'm calling Sacred Sexuality. What is sacred sexuality? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. As a woman who is in a same gender loving relationship and that's also a person of faith, one of the things that I am so interested in is the intersection between faith and sexuality. Because let's be honest, you don't often hear of a person, or not openly, a lot of times, you don't hear about a person who is in a same gender loving relationship, but that's also a Christian or a person of faith. So that intersection is something that I really want to dig into. And today I'm here to kind of talk through some things. So like I said, come with me. It's going to be a fun ride. I tried to think of a really clever way to start this, something real fun and creative, and it wasn't coming to me. So I decided, let me just do what I normally do and let's just talk it out. Let's work through this. So today I'm here to talk about the moment that my faith changed. Yes, the moment that my faith changed. And if I'm being honest, the moment that my life changed. My faith changed when I realized that I didn't need to be fixed, that I didn't need Olivia Pope to come in with her fly jacket and her swooped hair to come and save the day. Once I realized that, my faith shifted. My relationship with God shifted. So once I realized that I wasn't a problem, that I wasn't a disgrace, that there wasn't something wrong with me, my faith took on a whole nother level. When I began the journey of coming out, I'm going to be honest, it was not an easy thing. One of the main things that I struggled with was where I stood with God. As a good Baptist girl, when I was brought up, it was known you can do a lot of things, but just don't be gay. You can get pregnant, you can dip and dabble in some drugs, you can drop out of school, but listen, don't be gay. Please don't do that, because that is the one thing that the Lord hates. What's wild about that is a lot of the teaching was not blatant. It wasn't like, we hate the gays. It was more like, as a young woman, they teach you certain things. They teach you how to be pure and modest. They teach you how to be polite. They teach you how to take care of your house and your husband. There's some sprinkles of the things that separate us from God in those sermons. And one of the main things that is mentioned is, listen, the gays are an abomination and you don't want to be a part of that. So you can imagine my discomfort when I started to wrestle with my sexuality and with who I was as a person. Talk about torn. I mean, I cried, I prayed, I fasted, I cried some more, I prayed some more, and it was like, Lord, what is this? What are we doing? Where is this coming from, and why can I not get rid of it? Why is it not going away? My fear was if I gave into my sinful desires, if I gave into the lust of my flesh, I was going to be eternally separated from God. So here I was, having spent a great majority of my life following the rules, doing the right thing, serving, doing what a good Christian was told to do. I'm singing the songs, and here it is, my raggedy flesh is going to be the thing that sends me straight to hell. So I want you to imagine the turmoil that causes. Imagine you've done all of the right things, you've checked off all of the boxes, you've done what you were told to do. And the one thing that you can't change is the one thing that is going to absolutely separate you from the God that you have spent your entire life serving. That's how I felt. The way that I felt and who I was attracted to was not something that I could change. It's not something that I could alter. And that discord and that discomfort honestly started to tear me up inside. I sincerely, and I mean sincerely, questioned my status with my Savior. And I did what I probably shouldn't have done. Instead of drawing closer to God and trying to figure it out with Him, I started to get distant. And I'm going to tell you why I started to get distant. I stopped praying. I stopped studying. I was still attending church. Like, I was still in church, still serving, still doing what I was expected to do. But my heart was not all the way in. And in my mind, it was like, well, if God doesn't love me as I am, what is the purpose of trying? So I started hiding from the one person that I should have been able to be fully vulnerable with. The one person that I should have been fully authentic with, I was hiding from. The way I see it, if there is any place and any person that you can be bare and vulnerable with, it is in the presence of God. At the feet of Jesus is the one place that we should be able to be free and open and fully honest. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I could come to Him as I was, because there was a part of me that He did not approve of. There was a part of me that He did not like. Again, the way that I see it, like, that's the one place you should be authentic with. You should be fully yourself at the feet of Jesus. You should be able to be yourself with the people that you're in community with. But I didn't feel that way. I felt like I had to hide bits and pieces of who I was. And that's not fun, because eventually that starts to wear you out and you get tired. So what I was doing is I was showing the parts that I felt were appropriate and acceptable, and I was hiding the parts that I knew would be rejected. Do you know how hard it is to know that part of you is not acceptable and would be rejected, not because it's wrong or because you did anything wrong, but because people just don't approve of it? So one of the things is, I was scared to even admit that I was called to preach, because I was like, nobody's going to want to listen to a queer preacher. Nobody's going to want to listen to somebody who is living in a way that's unacceptable to the Lord. Nobody's going to want to hear that, because they're going to think that there is something wrong with me, or a part of me that is not fully surrendered to God. And that wasn't the case. Like, I was surrendered. I was like, Lord, I'm all in, but can I really be all in? Can all of me be accepted as I am? So eventually I got to the point where I had to fight against that internalized homophobia. I had to see that I was beloved of God. I had to realize that who I was not a mistake. It's not something that needed to be changed or that needed to be adjusted. My sexuality did not separate me from God. And that took a while for me to grasp. I had to come to the place where I realized that God knew me before I even got here. And I had to have some really hard conversations with God. I had to bring myself back into His presence and be like, okay, Lord, listen, I know we haven't been talking the way that we normally do. I know that we've seemed a little apart. Not because I don't love you, but because I have some questions on whether or not you love me. I had to tell God, I was like, okay, Lord, if you hate the gays, why did you make me one? If same-sex attraction is something that you're like, no, we can't do that, why did you put it inside of me? And God was gracious and kind and patient with me. God didn't push me away even when I was like, okay, clearly I can't come to you as I am, so I'm gonna just stay over here. Even in those moments, God did not push me away, and I'm so grateful for that. I want to share two scriptures that have honestly helped me. I watched I guess it was a sermon a couple weeks ago, and it was from another queer preacher. She was explaining some of the scriptures that helped her, and as she was reading it, I was like, wait, those are the two scriptures that got my life together when I was at my lowest. So I'm going to share them with you today. See, I still can't get away from this faith walk. Even though this is Sacred Sexuality, it's going to be a little bit of faith walk because that's just what I do. So let me go ahead and give you my 2 scriptures. The first one is Psalm 139 and the second one is Romans 8.